So, behind this smile, I came back home. I said, okay, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to fight. I'm going to fight. I'm going to fight to live. I'm going to fight for everything of who I am and what I am. I'm going to fight. And I crawled back in bed and I got depressed again for another 2 or 3 days. Depression is real, people. I'm laughing, but those who deal with it know it's no laughing matter. It almost feels like, and I know we could get on the spiritual side. I'm a very spiritual person. I am someone who walks heavily in my faith. But I want to talk a language that everybody understands here. But it literally feels like something is holding you down. You want to get out of that bed. You want to get out of the house. Your mind is telling you you can do it. You got so much to live for. But then at the same time, your body and your mind is also telling you, give up. Throw the towel in. You're nothing. Nobody cares. Nobody wants you. Nobody loves you. Nobody's going to believe you. Everybody's talking about you. This. It's exhausting. Have you ever looked at a photo of yourself smiling and was immediately reminded of that moment in time? The pain, the past, the pressure you endured? It's been said a photo holds 1,000 words, but can we fearlessly tell the truth and courageously open our heart vault of vulnerability to share those words? I'm your host, Takiya LaShawn. Hey guys, welcome to this very first episode, vlog, podcast, whatever you want to call it, of Behind This Smile. I am Takiya LaShawn, and I am going to be the one pioneering this journey. This is going to be totally raw, totally unscripted, and just totally from my heart and my memory and whatever comes out of this mouth. As I've just said, behind this smile, as you see right now, I'm smiling. I'm actually pretty excited. Today's what I would call an up day, a good day. I was supposed to start shooting this podcast on yesterday, December 1st. Today is December 2nd. I had a little bit of I don't know if you call it a wardrobe malfunction, but if you've noticed, my hair is yellow. It is not blonde. We're working on it. We're getting there. I had a little bit of a issue yesterday, and the interesting thing is I was trying to cover up the yellow, and I was going to wear a hat, and I was going to put a full-on scarf on, and I was going to wear a wig. I wasn't really stressing about it because there's so many different options. But I just decided, you know what? I'm not going to hide it. I'm not going to hide this flaw. This is just yet another reason why I decided to do this podcast called Behind This Smile, because I would say 85% of the time, I'm smiling, I'm laughing when you see me publicly. When you scroll my social media, there's this big old smile. My best friend, my bestie, my BFF, my girl for life, she has told me for so many years, she says, Takiya, when you smile, it's contagious. It lights up a room and it makes people smile. And I believe that. I look at my photos and I look my happiest and healthiest when I'm smiling. But there's a lot that goes on behind this smile. That statement and the birthing of this podcast actually came about 4 days ago. When I was laying in bed and I wasn't smiling. I was actually pulling through a bout of depression. I was at a really, really, really all-time low. It was It started on Thanksgiving Day, which was what Thanksgiving this year was, I don't know, the 23rd, the 24th. I don't even know because, to be totally honest, I spent it alone, like 100% alone. Behind this smile, you'll find there's a lot that has gone on to get me to the place that I am and to have me to evolve into the woman that I have become and am becoming, and I embrace all of her. But I feel like I went off the beaten path about 4 times there. So let's bring it back. The hair, I decided I wasn't going to hide it. It's a flaw. It can be fixed. It will be fixed. But I just decided I am going to be very real and very raw with every bit of my life. And so while you will see me wear wigs and change colors and things like that, I just decided I'm not going to let another thing, another day, hold me up from doing this, doing something that I know has been in my belly, on my heart, and just right there on the tip of my tongue. But I've had such a struggle with figuring out how to talk about the things that I have endured and gone through. Over the years, I'm a TV talk show host. I've worked in media. I've worked on the news. I've been interviewed. I've been featured in all kind of magazines all around the world. Majorly for my, I guess my title in the beauty industry. But this is a totally different area of me just being real and being raw. I've even done Inspired with Takiya LaShawn because I've always heard, Takiya, you're so inspiring. And I believe that I am still inspiring. But this portion behind this smile is something that is going to be aspiring. What I want to do is share my truth and in hopes that other women will aspire to be able to not only speak up and speak out and not feel ashamed of the things that they've endured or gone through, but to embrace all of that and to recognize that you're still here, you still have breath in your body. There's still so much ahead that you can do. And so the hair, it's not perfect. It's not what it's supposed to be at all. It's supposed to be an ash blonde. We'll get there. But again, I said I wasn't going to hide anything. Now, going to my laying in bed Thanksgiving Day, I was triggered. And those of you that deal with depression, like real life, either A, have been diagnosed with it medically, or have some knowledge of the fact that it has been handed down generationally. And that's not to disregard anybody that has moments that feel depressing, that have those emotions of sadness. Something happens and you're sad. There's 10,000% a difference between sadness and depression. And I, about 4 or 5 years ago, saw a therapist for the first time in my entire life. And I knew I needed therapy, but my goal was to make sure that my children who had gone through some trauma got therapy and were taken care of first. And finally, the therapist reached out to me and said, hey, you need to come see me. And in that process, this therapist, my therapist at the time, she told me, Takiya, you have extreme PTSD. And you have severe depression. Not just depression, severe. Not just PTSD, extreme. Like, I'm such an overachiever, even in that area. It makes sense. But I remember that day feeling like, honestly, I was on cloud 9. Not because I was told I had PTSD, not because I was told that I had severe depression, but because titles were given to what I was feeling. It was this aha epiphany moment of, you're not crazy. You're not just tired all the time. You're not just overworked. You're not just the single mother. You're not just dealing with life. You are struggling from a mental illness. You are struggling from something that you have been fighting to mask and cover up and figure out and hide and heal all on your own, and you didn't even know that you had it. And now we have a title to this, so now you know how to work towards dealing with it and living with it. So again, that was a few years ago. So I said that to say, rewind to Thanksgiving 2023, I was triggered and it spiraled me into an extreme state of depression. And everyone's different. I'm here to talk about mine. In the future, I will have, I'm sure, a slew of women, men, guests on that will talk about their experiences. But right now we're going to talk about mine behind this smile, and what it takes for me to get up every day and still be able to smile. So what triggered me and what has really been the foundation of triggering my depression for the last year and a half, 2 years, is the history of my past marriage. I don't know if I want to call it marriage. I mean, I'm divorced, but I'm like, how do I refer to that? So my past marriage, my ex-husband, the things that I have endured in going through a very traumatic and tumultuous marriage, then divorce, end of it. So I said all that to say that is what triggered me. Because remember I said the first 30 seconds, I felt my heart drop into my stomach. And then I got myself together and I was like, it's okay, you're okay. I can't tell you how many times I've had to repeat that and say that to myself throughout the year. And my friends have had to walk me through that. You're safe, you're okay, it's fine. It's a very real thing. So I decided, I'm okay. I'm all right, it's fine. And that was Monday the 21st, and progressively the 21st, the 22nd, the 23rd. Thanksgiving was on the 23rd because Monday, 22, 23, no, it was on the 24th, Thursday. I don't know. Anyway, about 3 days later, it just hit me hard because my family, my children and I were actually supposed to spend the holidays together. And because of the damage that has been done on my ex-husband's part to my family, the manipulation involving even my son, we're still healing from that, and it still very much impacts how we interact with one another. And again, I will talk about all of that. I don't want to jump all over the place too much. We didn't spend the holiday together, and it hurt. All of this came to a headway and clashed on Thanksgiving, and now this comes full circle to tell you about my hair. I had locks. I had grown my hair out for the last 3 years to beyond my shoulders. They were down my back, and they were blonde, beautiful blonde color. Worked with one amazing master stylist on them and one amazing lockologist, loctician the past 3 years of this journey. And I loved my locks. They were a representation of me. They represented just being in a natural state, just being naturally beautiful. I loved them. Thanksgiving morning, I don't even know which particular thing it was other than a train wreck of all of the emotions hit. And I began to spiral into having a nervous breakdown. I mean, hands shaking, tears streaming, chest heaving, panic attack having, breakdown. I do not know how to explain it. Some of you, many of you will absolutely get it without me having to explain it. But I took scissors to my hair. I had already determined that in the new year, I wanted to end my lock journey and possibly comb my locks out or either cut them off and just start fresh. But Thanksgiving morning, I began to have a breakdown and I grabbed the shears and started cutting my locks. Not gently, not intentionally. I mean, jabby. Cut, 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 snip, 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 jab, jab, jab. It was, looking back on it now, I've had time to process. And I realized what it was. Number one, the way that I did it, I joke with my best friend and another friend I talked to, and I call it a crime of passion because I love documentaries. With CSI, like this, that's the nonfiction type of stuff or the TV stuff, but I like real live documentaries. I love the forensics of things. I love seeing how people get caught. I love seeing how the crime played out, not the crime itself, but I like the forensics of it. So I watch a ton of documentaries. And I remember telling my friend, I said, I feel like I committed a crime of passion on my hair. What I mean by that is when you watch these documentaries, these real life scenarios where a lover ends up murdering or killing the other or unaliving them, I don't know what I can say on the internet or the blog, a crime of passion is usually very violent. It's not just pow or jab. It's pow, 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 or jab, 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 jab. It's angry and brutal, and it's coming from a place of hurt or betrayal or something. So I now tell my friends I committed a crime of passion against my hair because I realized the reason I took to my hair, women will understand this. Black women will extremely understand this. Our hair is our crown. Our hair is a symbol of our beauty, our culture, our spirituality. And for me, I started this lock journey of growing out my natural hair into these long, beautiful locks. And I started that journey right after I got married. And the last 3 years, the meeting, the marriage, the divorce, the stalking entailed 3 years. And I was getting rid of, cutting off every bit of hurt and anger and betrayal and letdown and everything I had carried. And it was just so brutal the way I did it to my hair. And I remember I was weeping and sobbing, like hysterically. I literally, again, was having a breakdown. And I remember in my mind telling myself, like, why are you crying like this over your hair? You never care about hair. And I don't. I'm the type of person, I have been a baldy. I will shave it to the core and I'll bleach it blonde and move on about my business. I will grow hair down my back today and I will cut it all off tomorrow like it's nothing. But with my locks, I sobbed and I cried with every cut. It was like it almost physically took something out of me. And at the time, I was like, I'm thinking, you cannot be possibly crying like this over your locks, Takiya. And I mentally was trying to grasp that it's not about your locks, but maybe it is. And I went in. And when I finished, I had all these locks laid out on my bathroom counter. I took a picture of it. And then I eventually just posted the picture of my locks. And I talked about once I kind of got it. No, I didn't even get it together. I think I posted it out on Thursday on Thanksgiving. And I'll be honest, if you go back and read some of my Facebook posts, they're a cry for help. They really are. Publicly, people, I'm not going to reach to the public for help, but my friends and people that are very close to me, they recognize it and they reach out. But I posted that picture of my locks, not me, just the locks, because I look crazy. Remember, I jab. My hair was like, I looked like, and then I had been snotty, ugly crying, and I literally, again, was like mentally not in a good place. So I posted that, never leave me alone in a house by myself with shears and a passion to get rid of some things from the past. Like I said, that was my cry for help. People are used to me writing, oh, Takiya, you're so great. No, behind this smile, I am wanting to die. I am actually wanting to kill myself. I am actually miserable behind this smile. So that was Thanksgiving Day. That began to trigger the bout of the depression. And over the course of Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I went to church Sunday. So 4 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I was a complete wreck. I was crying. I couldn't sleep. Eating wasn't a problem. I am not one of those people who goes through sickness or bad times or a breakup or depression and I just can't eat. No, I am a stress eater. And from the time I started, my ex-husband continued to insert himself into my personal space in my life. I have gained 40 pounds. That's a lot of weight. I still look good. I'm curvy. I carry it well, but 40 pounds. After I worked so hard for 8 months to work on my mental, physical, and emotional state, and that's going back. Again, we'll talk about it. But I finally got myself out of bed because I wanted to go to church. I was like, I need to just surround myself with my faith, my spirituality, believers that I know I'm going to hear a word. It's just going to be encouraging. So I got up on the 4th day and I went to church, and the message was so spot on. And I actually went up for prayer. And this woman, this is a new ministry that I've been visiting for the last year now. And I really don't know a whole lot of people there. I do know some people, but I'm not really, I travel a lot, so I'm not there consistently. And it's a big ministry, so everybody doesn't know me. So this lady, the point I'm making is at random, this woman and I make eye contact, and she's on prayer, the prayer team. And I'm hearing, God say to me, you need to go for prayer. You need a fresh start. And I'm just like, I'm good at my seat. I don't wanna, I ain't gonna. And I open my eyes and this lady is staring at me like, come here, and we start walking towards each other, and she just grabs me and embraces me. And she just starts going in, talking to me and telling me, you will not give up. You do not give up. There are so many women that need to hear your voice. There are so many women that need to know your story. You do not give up. And she said a whole lot of stuff. I mean, by the time she was done, I went from standing hands raised to on my knees, weeping. And I remember this. I remember her laying hands on my belly, and she said, let it go, let it go, let it go, let it all go, let it go. And I remember thinking, God, I'm trying. I want to let this go so bad. I don't want to hold on to the pain. I don't want to hold on to the hurt. I want to let go of everything. I'm trying. And she says, let it go. And, so she prayed for me. And she hugged me, and when we're done, she looks at me and she says, you promised me you don't give up. And I said, okay. And she said, no, you promised me. She made me look her in the eye. Pinky swear, promise me. She said, you don't give up, right? You're not going to give up. And I said, no, I'm not. No. As God would have it, I had to remind her. She didn't remember. Last year, I went to visit the same ministry. The same woman. She doesn't know, because again, I'm not there often. And then I had a hat on, so they don't recognize me very often. But this woman is the same woman that prayed for me last year. Same thing. God sent me up to her. And she told me, she said, your smile is your weapon. You're beautiful. You keep smiling. And that stuck with me. And you fast forward a year later, it's the same woman telling me, don't you give up, and you got to let go. So, behind this smile, I came back home. I said, okay, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to fight. I'm going to fight. I'm going to fight to live. I'm going to fight for everything of who I am and what I am. I'm going to fight. And I crawled back in bed and I got depressed again for another 2 or 3 days. Depression is real, people. I'm laughing, but those who deal with it know it's no laughing matter. It almost feels like, and I know we could get on the spiritual side. I'm a very spiritual person. I am someone who walks heavily in my faith. But I want to talk a language that everybody understands here. But it literally feels like something is holding you down. You want to get out of that bed. You want to get out of the house. Your mind is telling you you can do it. You got so much to live for. But then at the same time, your body and your mind is also telling you, give up. Throw the towel in. You're nothing. Nobody cares. Nobody wants you. Nobody loves you. Nobody's going to believe you. Everybody's talking about you. This. It's exhausting. And I remember just feeling so heavy. And for about another 3 nights, this went on where I felt so in despair. And I just felt like my life is not worth living. And this is not the first time I felt like this. Like I said, I battle this. I deal with it. It is really a battle. But I remember the last night that the depression finally started to wane off and I started feeling I said to God, because I could not sleep. And any time I fell asleep, I would wake back up in the middle of the night. And I was waking up out of dreams, but they were really visions, because you know that space of when you're sleeping and you're dreaming, but then you wake up and you can still see what you were dreaming about? I don't know about y'all. I get that. Those are my spiritual gifts. I get visions. And so, but here's what I was waking up with, very vividly, very clear. I was dreaming, and then I woke up. And the moment I woke up, I saw myself, bang! That was one night. The next day, I couldn't sleep. I woke up. I was dreaming. I saw myself in the dream climb up. I have a big old huge marble countertop here. I saw myself climb up on top of it. I woke up, the vision. I saw myself jump off of it and hang myself. I lost my train of thought. So I'm having these dreams that really turn into visions. And the last night, I finally said to God, I said, I don't do this. I said, either you're going to take me, we gonna end this all, or we're gonna really show me what my purpose is. I'm going to get up. I'm gonna win this. I'm gonna walk out of this. I'm gonna stop living in torture, because I was being tortured, not by God, by the enemy. And I said that, and I said I just, because the way that I felt. And I almost want to say feel, because felt means past tense. But I'm still giving myself grace because I'm still dealing with this. The way that I feel is, I'm neither here nor there, God. Meaning, I'm okay if it all ends today. I'm okay if you really have me walk out every bit of the purpose you've called me to. I pick one, because I'm okay with either one. I don't mean that to sound arrogant. I don't mean that to sound like, oh, you talk to God like that. Well, I do, actually, because he's my friend. He's my father. He's my savior. He's my Lord. He's my friend. We won't get into all of that at this moment, but that's called a relationship. And you're real in relationship with the people that you love and care about, who know you and who can understand you. But I was at that place of, which one? So I wake up the next morning and I felt better. I felt everything lifted. I had clarity. And I, at some point, decided to get on social media. I don't know. I was going through my phone. I didn't know if I was on social media. I was on my phone or social media, one of the two. It was in one of the places that I had photos of myself. So either my camera roll on my phone or my social media. And I'm looking at these pictures of me. It was probably for inspiration for my new blonde. I don't know. I'm looking at pictures of me and I'm scrolling and I'm scrolling and I'm scrolling. And I'm like, I'm always smiling. And I said out loud, I said, if people only knew the truth behind this smile. And it was in that moment, instant clarity, I heard God say, so tell them. So tell them. Tell them what it takes and what goes on behind this smile. Tell them. And guys, I took off. That day, that moment, I felt better. I felt purposeful. I felt positive. Because see, one thing about me that I recognize and I realize, and this, a lot of it, 50% of it is trauma speaking, and the other 50% is purpose speaking. Trauma has told me I have to keep busy. It's a coping mechanism. I have to keep busy and make sure everyone else is good, because if I don't and I have to sit with myself, then I really have to sit with myself. And I've been doing a lot of that. That's okay, but it's been brutal and it's been hard. But the other 50%, which is 100% God, but the other 50% is purpose. Things that I'm passionate about. I need to put my hands to things that are purposeful. I will only do things that are purposeful. And what's purposeful to me are things that are progressive for the kingdom of God, things that are purposeful to healing and helping women and men and children be a better version of themselves, become all that they can be. Purposeful things excite me. Things that are positive and that are going somewhere. Because see, I've been saying for a long time, I have a lot to talk about. I know that I have a lot to talk about. I know and I knew that I was going to talk about all the things that I'm going to talk about. I just didn't know how to. I'm a writer. I'm gifted in writing. I've written and published 6 books. I have tried for the last year to write about the things I've gone through. It just hadn't worked. It's felt like all over the place because, again, I'm in the midst of healing and dealing with it all as well. And so talking about it hasn't helped. Writing about it hasn't just come together. But for some reason, when God responded and said, tell them what's behind the smile, then tell them the truth, it just all began to make sense. Start a podcast, just record yourself. It doesn't have to all come together and make sense right now, but it will. And you'll reach who you're supposed to reach because see, I know I can talk about what I've been going through with my ex-husband, but it wasn't purposeful. I'm not one that I'm retaliatory. I'm not one that I try to make people look or feel bad, not intentionally. So talking about what I've been going through was kind of hit and miss because there was no purpose in it. If I'm just talking just to be talking, then it felt like I'm just talking to put him down. And that's not what I was trying to do. I was trying to talk about what I've gone through and how it's made me feel. But now that I have a podcast that I can talk about this and other things just as freely as I want to. Basically, God was saying it doesn't have to make sense. So, but here's how it will make sense. Scrolling through the pictures of me smiling. There's hundreds of them. God said, you pick a picture. You pick a picture, and that will be how you find your topic for each podcast. Why? Because in those pictures where I'm smiling, behind every one of those smiles is a story. And behind every story is a revelation or some insight of what I was going through at that point in time in my life. That helps to give me my outline, so to speak. That helps to give me a timeline, so to speak. So I could pick any picture. I could pick a picture from 10 years ago. Most of us can remember when we look at a picture, I remember that day. I remember what I was dealing with. I know what I was going. And sometimes it's beautiful moments and it's positive moments. And sometimes it was straight hell going on in our lives. So I can pick any picture I want from any point in my life for the last 46 years of my life. You see it, 46. 46 years of my life. Any day. It doesn't have to be chronological. It doesn't have to line up with what happened yesterday. I just get to pick it where I'm smiling. I'll show you that smile. And then I'll tell you, let me talk to you about what was behind this smile. It's going to help me share my story. It's going to help me to heal. It's going to give voice to the woman behind this smile. And it's going to help you to know that you can speak up and speak out and that you're not alone. And that when you are smiling, when on the inside you're crying and you feel like dying, there's a lot of us out here also. You're not alone. And we're going to get through this together. So I'm extremely honored. I'm extremely excited. And I think that's going to be it for this first episode of Behind the Smile. Thank you so much for hanging on for this long. Thank you so much for continuing to tune in. I'm going to blog again and write as well as podcast, talk, video. I'm going to get my website in order and revamp so that you can sign up for inspirational texts and things like that. I'm just going to be wide open. I'm going to do what everybody has been telling me. What God has told me and affirmed that I was created to do, but what he's used many people to affirm. I'm a warrior. I'm a fighter. And behind this smile is going to be amazing. I'm excited. Thanks so much, guys. Takiya LaShawn. And hopefully the next time you see me, no, it's going to be a while. I got to let my hair heal. So get used to the yellow for a little bit. And then in a while, we'll straighten that out. Thank you. Bye. Hey, thanks so much for joining me today. Please help me to continue to spread the message of hope, encouragement, and inspiration by sharing my podcast with your friends, family, loved ones, and complete strangers. Someone needs to hear what has been said today. Like, follow, share, subscribe, and download on all platforms for Behind This Smile with Takiya LaShawn.